Hi, welcome to my podcast, Becoming a Cut Flower Grower. I'm your host, Lydia, and I'm here to share my year of growing and selling cut flowers. I'll be giving you the lowdown on everything I'm doing and sharing all the highs and lows, the good times and the inevitable disasters, all in real time. Join me on my cut flower journey, starting right now. Hello, and a very warm welcome to the latest episode. It is Tuesday, the 16th of December, 2025, and I'm very pleased to welcome you. Now, thank you. A couple of thank yous actually to start off. Firstly, to Mariana, who responded to my last episode about having a car full of wet gloves to recommend a glove that she uses called Wonder Grip Aqua. And I have looked these up. They are for sale in my local Screwfix, which is a builder's merchant around here. And I'm going to go and treat myself to a pair. They sound absolutely amazing and obviously a lot better than the ones that I've been using. And also a big thank you to Melissa, who sent me a message last week and who I literally just remembered this evening. I hadn't replied to it. And she also makes collages of her flowers. So she commented about the rose collage I did, which I showed to my wedding and event florist. So I am so glad that we're both on the same page about that. I am totally sold on doing the collages now. So thank you for those lovely messages. Now, today I have been absolutely smashing through my wreath making. Very exciting. I had a little bit of help from some 90s euphoria dance music with a guest appearance from Fat Man Scoop, which helped me do things an awful lot faster. It's amazing how fast I work, actually. In fact, I was listening to music when I was going around Sainsbury's the other day and spent an arm and a leg, so I'm never listening to music in the supermarket ever again. So I managed to get some offcuts to do these wreaths for free when we went to buy a tree for my other half. So I have a potted Christmas tree, I've got a few actually, that I was going to hire out for people last year and then did not have the confidence to actually hire them out. And some of them took a bit of a hit in the heat wave this year, but I have a couple left and I will be decorating a potted one. It's a decent size, it's about 6 foot tall, and that will be my Christmas tree. Anyway, we went to get a tree for him. He got a lovely tree, and I managed to get loads and loads of offcuts to make my wreaths with for free, which was unexpected and fantastic. I've done a little tiny reel on the Instagram. If you use that, there's the video of me and all the offcuts that I got. And I finally managed to use up quite a few of my dried flowers, and they've all been hanging up to dry for ages. One or two bunches had gone mouldy, so I'm guessing I must have put them away a bit damp, but the rest is absolutely fine. And in light of the fact that nobody's bought them, I thought I would chop them all up and put them in my wreaths, and they look really, really nice. They add a sort of lightness and yeah, just a real memory of summer, actually, because every time I look at them, I will know, no one else will, but I will know what they actually came from. And I've made a big-ish one for me because I couldn't help myself. I bought 12-inch rings this year, so everyone's having a 12-inch wreath, and then I thought I just can't make one myself this size. I've got to make a really big one. So I've got a mahoosive one for me, and then some bits and pieces left over for table decorations and, well, I'm not sure. I was going to make a swag, but I don't know whether I'll have time. I probably will have time to do that. I might do one of those. If not, I'm going to do a nice display to go down the centre of the table. And I also went wreath making on Sunday with a friend of mine, and it turned out that the organiser was a new florist. So she was just a career changer, and she just qualified in her floristry. And because I just can't help myself, I like to talk to everybody and find out what everybody does. And so we got chatting, and that was really great. And she hosted a fantastic event. It was actually done in a woodland, a small bit of woodland, couple of acres, which is available to hire out for people to do events there. And there are these sort of clearings where there's like a covering or kind of some kind of building. I think we had a parachute over our covering. And then there's a fire in the centre, which was lit. So we had warmth while we were making our wreaths. Also a compost toilet, which was so much fun. After you'd been and done your business, you had to get a metal can, take a scoop of some shavings in a bucket and cover over what you'd just done. So much fun, so much fun. So my friend and I made these small wreaths on a sort of a natural ring. I think it was looked like clematis that had been twisted together into these little rings, very, very pretty, with some naturally foraged items that the organiser had done. And then after that, we made s'mores on the fire. Love them so much. And there was a little tiny treasure hunt And we also made some stars out of sticks, which was really pretty, and we could decorate them and everything. And Natasha had bought loads of, this is the organiser, she'd bought loads of ribbon and lovely bits of holly and things that we could attach onto our wreath. So it was a really, really nice afternoon, and bless her, she's going to do lots more events next year as well, including like flower crown making events, which I think I will book some tickets for. Really nice. And I have to say, it was the first time that I, apart from when I do it for myself, when I've ever made a wreath outside around a natural fire. And it was so atmospheric. The smells, just being in the woodland. There's something very special about woodlands. And very occasionally I'll take my dog for a walk through them. And I always remember I forget how incredibly peaceful and calm woodlands really are. There's something quite unique about being in a wood, and even with lots of kids running around, it was still the most fantastic afternoon. So that was really nice. And then Sunday was planting day, because as you know, I have a list as long as my arm of all these things which need planting, and the list was just getting longer and longer, and things that I've ordered just seem to keep coming. I had another email today saying, oh great, your order's coming, and I'm thinking, gosh, I'm sure I've had everything. I've got a printout so I can do a reconciliation, but I keep thinking, I can't believe there's more still to come. This is like the order from October. And it may as well be October 5 years ago, because it feels like forever ago. So Sunday I was up on the field, and most of the dahlias are now in. I had to do a bit of weeding in order to get the final few in, and I think I have about 5 left to do. So that's great. And then I've got a whole load of geums have gone in, some veronica, some astrantia, and half a dozen peonies. And then at that point I ran out of labels, so I had to stop the pausing, because I know that my brain, even though I like to think I will remember what I've put where, these were all bare roots, and so there's virtually nothing sticking up over the ground, and I thought there's not a hope that I will remember. So I had to just press pause on that, and I will go and get some labels, and then I can carry on with the final little bit, and then whatever the contents of this new box that's coming. But the most drama this week was yesterday. You will not believe what I've done when I tell you. So I had an iPad to wipe. So it's an old iPad, and it's been given to someone else. And all I had to do was wipe it back to the factory settings to make sure that there was nothing on there whatsoever. And would you believe, I connected it to my laptop, started the whole process off, and I remember looking at the screen thinking, oh, that's quite a large download for a small iPad. I wonder what it's doing. But, trust the process. Left it doing its thing. Switched the laptop on yesterday, and I had only managed to wipe my entire laptop rather than the iPad. The iPad was still exactly as I had left it, and I had wiped my entire laptop. And if I tell you that I had not managed, you won't be surprised, I had not managed to set up the time machine on the Mac, because there was a reason. I wanted to buy a new external hard drive, not get it muddled with the external hard drive for my old laptop. Anyway, suffice to say, I did not finish doing the backup process, so I did not have a backup for an entire year's worth of data. And when I opened the laptop in the morning, and I thought, oh, you look a little bit different, I wonder what's happened here, and it didn't recognize me at all, like absolutely nothing. Everything had gone, the entire laptop. And I was a little bit sick, because I thought, oh my goodness, like, what am I going to do now? I've lost everything to do with the field, the flowers, all of my orders. I mean, all the emails and everything like that can come back down off the cloud, but everything that's stored on the laptop, gone. Everything to do with the podcast, gone. Just everything gone. The whole thing was like brand new, straight out of the box. I thought, oh my goodness, what am I going to do now? So half a day yesterday was completely wasted, because I had to take the Mac over to my other half's house. He's got proper Wi-Fi, unlike me. I do have Wi-Fi, but it's not proper Wi-Fi, and attempt to fix it. So thank goodness for ChatGPT, because I would not have been able to do it. And I'm reasonably savvy with computers, but only because I used to do a lot on them, and I'm really not now. I can do what I can do, and that's about it. And it was very complicated. I had to dive into the bowels of the Mac, somewhere in the messing about with the disk utility and the volumes and all this, that and that, the other, because my data was still in there somewhere. It was in there. It was just a question of getting it out, and then I got it out, and then the computer didn't recognise it, and there was all this hoo-ha. So it took me hours and hours and hours to sort that out, and it still doesn't look quite the same. Like, everything is there where it's supposed to be, in the right place, but I had to redo all the items on the dock and re-download all the applications, and massive colossal waste of time. So I have ordered myself an external hard drive, which is coming, I think, either later today or tomorrow, and I will do the backup thing properly, and then this will never happen again. And then today I had to take the iPad to a shop in town and pay somebody to wipe it for me, because there was absolutely no way I am plugging that thing back into my Mac ever again. So that's been horrendous, and as I say, total panic, but we have got there. Everything is fine. But yeah, it's been yesterday was an absolute day. Now, the main bulk of what I wanted to talk to you about this evening is dealing with negativity without crying. Now, this could just be something that's unique to me, the crying, I mean. I do tend to cry at the drop of a hat. I'm a very sensitive person, and I take things personally. I always have been, and I don't take criticism well at all. So I have tried toughening up a little bit. My other half tells me all the time, you've got to toughen up, but so far it's not really working. And you might think, having got to this age, I'm 45, that I could just let things that people say go over my head and not let them affect me. But no, that's not happened. And you might also be thinking or expecting that people will or may be more likely to say unkind things to you regarding cut flowers here, not my personal life, in peak season when you're actually selling product. But no, things can be said all year round, which can be unpleasant or upsetting. And the thing is, we can't control what other people do. We can only control ourselves and our reactions, our feelings to what happens. So I'll tell you a story, just diverting off this one slightly. I used to have a different business about 15 years ago, and I made a product which I thought was just fantastic. And I sent some samples off to a national newspaper, and they actually featured the product with a photograph and my website in the newspaper. And I was beyond excited. And then I read the review, and it was very positive. It was a really good review, but the last sentence was something along the lines of a first world problem, solves a first world problem. And I was so upset and embarrassed that they had said that. I mean, obviously it is a first world problem, because you probably wouldn't need that product in, I don't know, the global south, say, for example. But it was just the way it was written at the end of this review, like a very just sort of dismissive last sentence. And I was so devastated that I folded the business. I just shut it down completely, didn't sell any more of the product, didn't do anything to do with it. That was it. I just literally gave up. I was so humiliated. Nowadays, I am a smidge tougher than that. So that's not going to happen with this business if someone says something similar. But, okay, so back to where we are today. So somebody said something to me the other day which caused those kind of hot tears to well up behind your eyes. Do you know what I mean? When you just have that intense heat in your eyeballs and you think, I'm going to cry, no. So I thought I'm going to put some hints down for how I try and think about things now and try and deal with things. Because, as I say, it's still a learning experience for me. I have not cracked this at all, but I thought some of these ideas might be helpful, because it's going to happen to all of us at some point when we're making a product, we're selling something to other people, we're running a business, we're dealing with other people. Unless you live in some kind of bubble, then at some point somebody is going to say something unkind. And I think their comments say more about the person saying it, not necessarily about me or you. And also more about my product, my setup. And their words are, of course, filtered through their lens, their perspective on life. And they could also be having a rubbish day, but they could also have a point. I mean, if you sell a stem that is rubbish, I mean, you probably shouldn't sell it anyway, but things happen. Like I sold a load of dahlias to that flower festival I did in September. And when I went to look at the arrangements later that day, half of the dahlias had completely shattered and the petals had gone and they were no good. I didn't actually get any criticism for that because we were in the middle of a heat wave. So the organizer was very kind and just said, oh, you know, it happens. It's not a problem. We've just replaced them with something else. So things happen with the stems. They are, in a way, unpredictable creatures. And you turn your back for 2 seconds and you'll turn back and they've shattered, they've fallen over, they've twisted in the light. They've done all sorts of daft stuff. And sometimes they just go a bit wrong. And it's very difficult when you're providing a product that is still live, in the sense that it is a living thing, and you hand it over to somebody else. So sometimes the criticism is completely valid. If someone says that is a rubbish stem and you look at it and go, yep, I agree with you, I'm sorry, I will replace it, I'll give you a refund, whatever we need to do to make you happy. But sometimes people are just mean. There's no other way around it. They are just mean. And some people like to assert their status and their positioning through you, or really how they want to position you, which could be on a different level to how they see themselves, which might not be how you see yourself. You might think of yourselves as equal or similar, and they may just decide that they are in some way better than you. And therefore they get to say things about you which may or may not be right. Now, perhaps they feel challenged by you in some way or unsettled. Perhaps you've got under their skin. Perhaps I've got under this person's skin somehow. And they think saying something to me is appropriate or makes them feel better. I don't know. So here is how I am dealing with it. I am re-establishing boundaries. Now, as I said to you in the last episode, I'm someone that makes friends with enormous difficulty. I find the whole process with most people, not with everybody, with most people quite tricky. I'm never sure that I'm saying the right thing, and I'm never sure whether my sense of humour comes across, or lots and lots of different things. So I do find it difficult, and I have to keep reminding myself that I'm in business. I'm in the business of selling cut flowers. I'm not in the business of making friends. This is a business arrangement, and it is not necessary for people to be my best friend. Like, we're going to have a great working relationship and we're going to do some business and we might become friends, but we are not friends at this point. We are people who are working together. So it's important to remember that you have boundaries, that people might say something about your business, but it's not necessarily about you. They are separate things. They don't get to come into your inner circle and make you feel bad on the inside. Like, everything stays at a professional distance. And these comments need to sit with me in a neutral space. Like, I cannot allow myself to get riled up by them. No explanations are needed about anything. The situation was what it was. They said what they did, and that is it. And I'm not assuming that I'm in the wrong here, because it's one person's opinion. It's not a jury's verdict of me or the product that I do. And I do also remind myself of the positive comments that I've had. And that's very important. It's not narcissistic to go back and review positive comments that you've had from people. It's a good thing to remind yourself that this is what people thought, lots of people thought about me. So absolutely no crying this time, no folding of any businesses, no hiding inside, and no overreactions that make things 10 times worse and upset anybody. It's about being cool, calm and collected this time, and taking professional comments on board, but not letting them get so close to me that they get under my skin. It's very important. And that is how I'm dealing with negativity without crying. So I hope some of those tips are helpful for you. In fact, I was going to say I hope you're never in that situation, but quite honestly, we are going to find ourselves in these situations. We are dealing with people who have, maybe fixed ideas of what they want, or they're very busy, or they're very stressed and they've got a lot going on. Well, we've all got a lot going on. And, people get upset sometimes with things, and sometimes they're justified and sometimes they're just being mean. And it's how we deal with those just being mean comments that's really important, because if it's a problem with the product, that can be solved. But anything else needs to be kept at a professional distance. So that is my thought for the day on that one. Now, it is Tuesday, which means we've got another few days of this week to go. And more rain is due, unfortunately, but Friday is looking very, very promising. So I hope that you have a great week wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And you would be more than welcome, as always, to come back and join me for the next episode. I really hope you will. So all the very best for the next week, this week rather, and I will catch you soon.